Hi everyone, and welcome to my presentation for Poly 493 class Principles of Public Administration. This is just my brief PowerPoint presentation for week 8, and basically I'm just going to discuss the 5 things that I didn't know 8 weeks ago when the course began. I'm going to point out why these 5 points were interesting to me, and also I'm going to point out one thing that I'd like to share with the class, and finally, one thing that we discussed that was most surprising to me and why. Here on this slide, I've included the 5 things that I didn't know 8 weeks ago. The first being how public administration works, second being Webster's bureaucracy, 3, without efficiency and leadership, a business cannot run properly, 4, everyone has to play their part and role in order for a business to run properly, like number 3, and number 5, that my city is underdeveloped. So one thing that I learned of how public administration works is it basically implements government policies and academic disciplines that studies this implementation and prepares civil servants for working in the public service. So basically, everybody who works in public administrations are public servants working for the government. With Webster's bureaucracy, it's just basically a food chain. We have the highest person in office, which would be our CEO. Below him, we have 2 people or sometimes 1 person running the company. And then we have 3 lower levels, so those would be our managers. And then we have our 4 lowest office. So basically, with the top guy, he just oversees the whole business. His 2 high office guys, they run the business and they make sure that everything goes accordingly. The 3 lower offices, they see everything that happens and then they report to their higher officers. And the lowest officers are just basically the employees that work for the company. They're the ones who put in the hard work and put in the ends at the end of the day. So just bureaucratic organization is based upon well-defined hierarchy, and hierarchy is based on authority. So basically, people who are working in these fields, they just always report to somebody higher than them. And then for number 3, without efficiency and leadership, a business cannot run properly. So basically, you have to make time to listen to your associates, and you have to make sure that every step or every complaint that is coming through your door is being answered so that these employees can feel that their voice is being heard and that you're paying attention to what is going on within your company. For number 4, I thought this one is very, very crucial in every aspect of job workforce. So everybody has to play their role and everybody has to play their part. Without this, the company isn't able to function properly. And I just feel that if everybody plays their part and does their role, then work can get done faster, less questions are asked, and just there's not a lot of conflict in the workforce. Number 5, my city is underdeveloped, so as I researched a lot for my final presentation and presentations that we had throughout the first 3 weeks of the course, I found out that my city doesn't really have a lot here. My city is Desert Hot Springs. We're just about 15 minutes probably north of Palm Springs, but we're just a small city. We don't really have any big stores like a Walmart. We have to drive like 30 minutes. To the movies, we have to drive 30 minutes. So, I mean, there has its pros and cons being a little city, but I feel like a little city, and since we don't get recognized as much, doesn't really have everything that big cities like Riverside has or Los Angeles, and that's just something that I found out about my city. For this slide here, one thing that I found that I'd like to share with the class is that you have to have a firm foundation in your business in order for your company to run properly. So basically, like how I was explaining on the last slide, that everything just works as a ladder. Technically, there's the big guys and there's the 2 little guys below them, then the 3 little guys below them, and then the 4 below them, which would be us, the employees. You just have to have a firm foundation in your workforce and just make sure that everything works and that everybody's heard. So that's just one thing I'd like to share with the class. One thing that I discovered from the entire course is that our government and county officials, they work hard all year round. Um, Basically, so for my final presentation, I discussed the county officials for this course and the Department of Social Services and how they play their role inside Riverside County. So basically, like when the government shut down back in January, these officials, they stopped at nothing in order to make sure that those families who lived off of public assistance got their assistance that they needed, like cash aid or CalFresh, which is food stamps, to be able to provide for their families in the following months, um, because they weren't sure if we were going to be able to give out those benefits. So they issued them early to ensure that these families had what they needed. Basically, that's just the overall of my presentation, and I've enjoyed this course with you guys, and I hope that you like my presentation as well.